welcome back. My name is Bruno Flavin. I'm gonna make some video tutorials about the last post that I've made, which is WebMC Pt.1 and the semantic upgrade your website actually needs. So I've already opened it. Right here, you have also access to the code, which is right here. You can say open it. So you have the prompt that I've made and some of the plugin that I'm using, even though a kind of plugin was WebMCP, and this one is about the migration. So for instance, we will go through first the pipeline made in Python and then see how we can handle the migration to WordPress. So I'm just presenting why I do all this is just because you have to understand that you move from a search engine optimization to GEO, generative engine optimization, meaning that you have thousands of websites, mine, a personal one, but even professional website, where you need to shift from natural referencing to a generative engine optimization in order to be parsed and to be exposed by chatbot and LLM. So this means it has to be summed up to one word. There's a shift from search to response. Let's say I'm gonna look at my name into, let's say, perplexity, and I will make also my search on Google. Okay, so if I look at my name, you see I have plenty of links that will go to my website, and so I will have traffic. Okay, right here, if I look, apparently there's few links, but it's not much, not enough. So basically, I'm not anymore able to drive traffic from chatbot to my website, and there was much more traffic that was lead to my website through Google. So how can I handle this change? Meaning that it's, for instance, I don't need that, meaning that I need to rework the tags and the categories. For instance, this is my categories. So I already made the change on my website, and this is the change that I want to show you. So meaning that these tags have been qualified with name entity recognition through a pipeline in Python, meaning that I'm using spaCy for a name entity recognition, and I'm also using Wikidata to specify more explanation and more context to the LLM. I will use one of the guy, for instance, adult Zucker, that is part of my text. So I'm going to present you quickly, and I will go back to my walkthrough. I'm going to present you what I'm using as an environment. So I'm using Docker to handle. WordPress locally. I'm using Anaconda to run the pipeline locally, so meaning to handle and to manage my Python environment. I'm using, like I say, spaCy into this pipeline to use the name entity recognition of spaCy, both in French and in English if needed, and Wikidata. Okay, so let's go. And so you have into the walkthrough, you have now, let's see the console. So you see I've made few attempts. This one will be used for the pipeline. This one is used for the Docker, meaning that if you look at my Docker, I have a Docker install. Okay, so I'm not working. You see, this is one of my tags on my staging in the say, and you have the same into the on the production, and we'll come back later on this name why I've picked up this tag in the Adobe Core. I will explain you. And the second terminal is the one with the Docker. Okay, so let's start it. I will go from step 1 to step 4 and to make the change. Okay, so let's say I will grab, so this one will grab from the local installation 100 tags and export it into CSV and to JSON. Okay, so this is a step 1. So I need the sources. Okay, and here it is what I'm going to use, because I know it's a name entity. So as you can see, other Zucker has been taken, and you have also Afghanistan, which is a country. Okay, so we will see what change is going to happen to this tag. Okay, so the first thing is to grab locally. You can grab it from production, or if you have an API on your website, on your WordPress, or even a CMS whatsoever, you need to grab your tag that will be the content that you will work on it. Okay, so second thing, I'm going to run spaCy on the step 2. So you can define limit, you can define what kind of taxonomy you want to lead. Right now, for the purpose of this video, I've used post tag, but you can it also work on category. So let's run it. So it will go and call, for instance, this is in French mostly because previously I was releasing my post into French. So he has created a kind of enrichment of this. And you can check, see, I'd rather go for JSON because it's, so you see if we go Zucker, he has knows that Zucker is a person, and you see Afghanistan, it's localization. So it has worked. I just show you right here, Zucker, person, space entity, and Afghanistan, it's just a little bit below localization, meaning that, so for instance, if I go into the article, for those who doesn't know what is name entity is, this is right here, okay? This is, it qualifies, it's a kind of qualification of what is the tag. This is basically one of the most important concepts from natural language processing, NLP, okay? So let's go for the second step. So I will close this one. So this time I grabbed my tags, I've run spaCy, and I'm going to run Wikidata. So meaning I will treat this, maybe I will only treat, because it takes time. So maybe for the sake of this tutorial, I will only treat the 10 first. Well, let's say I will go from 100. So you will see we will have Adobe Zucker, we will have Afghanistan, where that will be treated. So it means that it's gonna go through Wikidata. For instance, if I grab, let's say I will take Adobe Zucker, I guess is existing in the Wikidata. Yeah, that's him. So you see, he's gonna grab this information. So let's do it, and which is very interesting in terms of GCO, generated content optimization, because then, sorry, this is this one. So we have 100 tags, this is post tag, and he's going to go through my list right here. He will go with the previous version, which is step 2, and then he will do the step 3. So let's do the step 3. So you see, he's going to go through the post tag. You see, I'm using, you see, yeah, he has start with this one, and then he goes from here, here, and here, and maybe it will come, yeah, Adobe Zucker is on the 41 spaces, so maybe I will wait. So what is interesting is that I made a checkpoint, I made batch size, I made some delay. You have to be careful when you're calling this API, because then you can be kicked out if you make too much request or too much stuff. You see there's some information that does not correspond at all. This is .bat or .exe is quoting the city of Bath or Exeter. I think it's in England. But most of the time is recognition. There's a good recognition. For instance, this date is an historical date that I was used in my blog, and then you really understand what it is. Okay, so we wait for the 41, and then I will stop the video. I don't know. So you see, I've made right. You see, I've prepared this script, and we will wait maybe for it. I've prepared this script to handle everything, to resume the situation if somehow the thing is stopping and so ever. So meanwhile he's doing the work, I will show you the stuff. So you see, the idea is to make a better, let's take this adult Zucker thing, it's to qualify much better the way, you see, the way you may be called by an LLM. So for instance, if I have an article about adult Zucker or even about myself, then Perplexity will be able to quote the sources and then to bring me some traffic, which is very easy. This is a very basic this is a very basic concern, but that's very, very important to understand that there's a complete shift into the model, into the economical model that was driving most of the website. And it's not only about media, it's about e-commerce, it's about any kind of people who's doing business on the internet, okay, using a website or an application whatsoever. Okay, so let's see where it is, 41. Well, I will stop and I will come back when it's done. See you in a minute then.